Yeah, court was really, really bad for me Friday. And this is Monday. And I'm really unhappy, but I'm still with faith, and I'm still praying. I'm still doing a lot of cleansing. Um, if you know, then you know. Anyways, um, as I said in last night's brief video, I was really optimistic. And my optimism came not from any circumstances or not from any outside factors, just strictly from praying and strictly from a God standpoint. So I was feeling okay about going to court on the 3rd. And even though I knew that the appointed attorney for that court for those two cases was not defending me like he should, was not and is not defending me at all, and basically not helping me in any way. He has never ever answered one single phone call of mine. And when he was first appointed to me and the first time that I was consulting with him, he answered phone calls left and right. He even answered them in court. So that's how I know that he was always avoiding my phone calls in particular. Because he would answer phone calls from people at the most inopportune times, and sometimes it was something very insignificant and petty, because he would talk about it in front of me, like what he was going to have that night for dinner, whoever he was speaking to on the other end, and so forth. So, but the thing is that these two cases, just as the one case in the other court, are extremely important to me. One of them is absolute malicious prosecution. It's about a bail bondsman who's just um, unjustifiably retaliating against me, and he filed a false police report, which led to this case being picked up by the city attorney. And it's one of the two cases in the one court that I went to on Friday. On Friday, though, the case that I went for was for the petty theft case, which they made into a prior, which they charged a prior with and made into a felony. I was there as usual early. Court starts at 8:30 here in California and LA County. Um, Criminal court cases do start at 8:30, even though sometimes things happen. There are different factors. I'm always there early. I'm earlier than 8:30. This attorney, as usual, was very late. He never called me, never texted me, never communicated with me, and he never communicated with the court that he was going to be late, and he's been late every single time. Actually, I was sitting in court when the judge, and I'm going to say his name, Herskovitz, he asked the bailiff to ask me where my attorney is, and I had to say, I don't know. I've tried to call him this morning. I've tried to text him. He hasn't answered me. So he hadn't even communicated with them. I did go in the hallway and I did text him again, and that's when he started right away with false accusations and underhanded insults, and I didn't engage in that with him. I told him that everybody's waiting for him, things to that effect, that it's about 9:30. Court had started at 8:30. He wasn't here. He didn't say, okay, I'm on my way, anything like that. He just started accusing me right off the bat. I texted that I really don't want to argue with him. The cases are far more important. When he got to court, we had a discussion in the hallway. He was very unmistakably snide and rude, and In person, he started off with his outrageously false accusations against me. And I told him that I wanted him to withdraw from the case that day, Friday. And he looked at me and he laughed and he said that he was not going to withdraw and there was nothing I could do about it. And if I didn't like it, I could go talk about his effing mother, which was bizarre coming from him. And I told him that I don't need to talk about anybody's family or anybody else. I just want him to withdraw. And he argued with me. And when I told him that he was crooked and he was no good, he threatened me with violence. He threatened me with violence. I'm not going to get too specific as to what violence he used on me, but he actually threatened me with violence. I was really upset when we went before the judge in the court. I very calmly and collectedly and decently, politely put it on record that he had just earlier in the hallway threatened me with violence, and I was in fear of him. And I was going to file a report against him. I didn't say anything about a Marsden motion. I didn't mention it, but the judge immediately cleared the courtroom and he conducted a Marsden motion or Marsden hearing where he had me make my statements. I repeated that he had threatened me in the hallway, that ever since that he'd been appointed, he had failed and refused to ever answer one single phone call of mine. He was practically uncommunicative via text. There was a breakdown of communication, and to make matters worse, he not only came out and hurled some really false accusations at me earlier this morning, but he also threatened me with violence. And earlier in the case, he had failed and refused to file any motions that I had asked him to file. And the judge asked me, what motions are those? And I said, at this point, because I don't have legal help and I don't have legal counsel, and those motions have not been formally put forth, I cannot tell you that because it is confidential at this point. And that judge, Herskovitz, kept demanding to know what those motions were, and I kept saying politely and collectedly, those motions are confidential and they're part of attorney-client privileged information. So he asked the attorney, and the attorney wrongfully divulged all the motions and divulged a lot of other things. At any rate, he divulged a lot of things and he violated attorney-client confidentiality. He also went right in and made his outrageously false accusations against me. He lied and said that I went online and threatened somebody, and he said that person's name. So it's clear that he lied because there's no such thing. And he had absolutely no substantiation. His accusations were so outrageously false. And that right there should have shown, and it did, it evidenced his bias and his prejudice against me. And I spoke up and I told the judge right there, more than anything, I needed it to be put on record in case of the necessitation for appeal. I put it on record that that right there evidenced his bias, and that obviously right here it's very clear that there's a breakdown of communication. Again, he has threatened me. The judge proceeded to not only deny taking this attorney off of this case and deny me a different appointed attorney, he also went on without me ever soliciting to have the motions put forth, without the motions even having ever been brought forth, because the attorney has refused to do so. He went on to hold a hearing on and rule on those motions. That's not just improper, it's illegal. And he also made personal comments against me, quote unquote frivolous, making it up, that shows the judge's bias and his inability to conduct and rule on a case or any aspect of a case fairly or impartially. Yet he refuses to get off the case. He refuses to recuse himself. And then he brought everybody back in, the prosecutor and the clerk and the other members of the court, and we were back on record. And back on record, the attorney went in with his prejudice statements against me, and I made it known, again, in a collected manner and in a calm, collected manner, that I will be filing a police report against him and obtaining a restraining order after court. So the attorney immediately asked for a sidebar, which is what I thought he would do. He went to the judge with the prosecutor in attendance, and they were speaking quite clearly. And my appointed attorney insisted that the judge grant an evaluation so that he can ultimately have me declared incompetent. My attorney insisted on that, which was so false and so wrong, because this case has been going on for well over a year, and no issue of incompetence ever came up, because I'm far, far, far from even being remotely incompetent. If anything, I'm entirely competent, in possession of all my faculties. Everybody in this case has known that. And in fact, the most crucial factor here is that the judge, Herskovitz, told him, I don't think she's in the least bit incompetent, quote unquote. And I don't want to delay this case anymore. I've observed her, and she knows damn well everything that's going on in this case. She's very educated. She could have carried this case on her own if she had chosen to. I don't believe for a second that she's incompetent. And my appointed attorney kept on insisting, because at one point he said, she needs to be shut up. You heard her. She's going to leave after court today and go file a police report against me. I spoke up and I said, indeed, I am not incompetent. I'm very cognizant and aware of the role of every member of the court, the rules and procedures of the court, how this case is being handled. I'm very well aware of the accusation against me, and I am very, very competent. And that is when, back on record, the judge lied. He said, based on your behavior today, I'm going to deem you paranoid, and I'm going to order an evaluation. And he proceeded to issue several very dire warnings against me that if I did not attend the evaluation appointments, he would remand me to custody and imprison me. He said that. And then he went on right after that to assign, of all people, who the appointed attorney who insisted on this evaluation, who there's clearly the biggest conflict of interest with, he assigned that attorney on record to make those appointments for the evaluations, and to allegedly inform me of those appointments, knowing that he is biased, knowing that there's a severe conflict of interest, and that he would not inform me of those appointments. So I spoke up again in a collected manner, and I put forth to the judge, sir, being that there's a conflict of interest, would you please appoint a impartial party, somebody other than this attorney, to make the appointment, communicate with the doctors, and inform me of the evaluation appointment dates. Or at the very least, to require him to text me the evaluation dates to prove that he did inform me of the dates sufficiently in advance. And the judge denied me. And he wouldn't let me speak after that. Right after court was over, right after I was excused, I left. I didn't talk to anybody. And I went on there are a bank of elevators in the hallway. There were at least 4 available elevators, and I got on one elevator, and as I was getting on, the door to another one opened as well that was also going down, and the attorney followed me by getting in the same elevator as me because he had to stop the door from closing on him to do that. He squeezed himself in, he got on the elevator, and he told me, yeah, I'm not going to tell you about those appointments. I said, I already know that, and I'm responsible. I will contact the doctors on my own, and I will make the appointments, and therefore I will know the appointment dates. Now, please do not talk to me. Well, after that, I got off the elevator downstairs, and I walked directly to the police station right across the street to go file a police report, and he followed me to the police station, and I can prove it. It's not just my word, because I took pictures of him following me on my cell phone. I took photos of him. When I went to the police station and I walked in and I went to approach an LAPD officer to file the report, he stepped in front of me, the attorney. He literally stepped in front of me and cut me off and told this police officer that neither of us knew. He gave him my name and he told him, don't listen to her. She's here to file a report against me. Don't listen to her. I'm her attorney. And he told the officer about my case. He divulged and violated the confidentiality, which was also illegal, and told him that earlier in court he had ordered an evaluation to have me declared incompetent. So the officer was looking at the both of us, and in the end, that officer wrongfully refused to let me file a report. He refused. He said, I'm not doing this. So he left. I went and spoke to the officer's supervisor, a female Asian, I believe a sergeant, I believe. She had stripes, and she wouldn't file it either. But what she did is she showed what she was doing was wrong. She actually gave me proof. She wrote on an official card that I had come in, demanded a report. They had denied me a report. They had spoken with the attorney and denied me a report. I took that card and I kept it, and now I have it, and I have copies of it. The card has gone in a safe deposit box in the bank, and so have a lot of other documents. I did go and obtain a restraining order. It was approved and stamped by a judge in the other court because I presented the photographs and the card and all my other proof. I did put in the restraining order application. This is my attorney. This is what he's done. He threatened me with violence. I obtained the restraining order. I took it to the sheriff's to serve him. I did have to go back to a police station and file a report. I told them what happened in the police station earlier that day. So I told them everything. In fact, I showed them a copy of the card. So they were fully aware of everything. They filed the report, gave me a copy. I've included that with the restraining order for the permanent hearing. But I'm really astounded at the corruption that's going on. at the utter corruption. Um, Obviously, Friday I got back really upset but collected, and I couldn't go out. So there was this new guy, this new man that I had put him off like twice already. So I had to put him off for the third time on Friday because we were supposed to go out. Um, and I told him Saturday we would go out for dinner. And Saturday I had to call him and tell him that I couldn't. Well, I had to text him. So I relented and I went out with him Saturday. For me, that was a no-go. Um, that guy was not what I wanted. Tell me what part of 5 to 6 in the evening, but while it's still very much light outside in the Cali weather, and you wearing all black, including a black silk shirt and a black vest with your chest all showing, is classy or cool. Display some class, okay? Because when we went inside, he kept saying, "Well, do you want to go somewhere?" And I said, "Well, we are somewhere. We're in a restaurant." Um, but don't you want to go somewhere? Um, this is fine. I actually like to be here. We can talk and we can have dinner. We sat down and, we started conversating, and right away he got into politics and everything else. Um, the whole evening he would refer to me as, "You're hot, you're hot." When you get to know each other, that's great. But when you first know somebody and you're telling me, yeah, you're really hot, and guys are just going to hit on you a lot, and I bet your pet would really be protective of you. That tells me where this is not going. We had dinner. We talked a lot about politics. Um, maybe you could ask about me and I could ask about you. We could get to know each other. Um, to me, I really respect myself, and it is never worth it for me to have dinner with company that I don't like. I'd rather have a great dinner on my own. I love that. I could have dinner on my own by myself and totally enjoy it. It's not worth it for me to be in the company, nothing, no dinner, no food is ever worth my integrity, or to be with somebody that I don't like and to hear them keep talking. Okay, so save it. But I was still nice to him. I was very nice. We were there for like at least a couple hours. And uh, I was nice. I didn't keep my phone on the table because I would never want somebody to do that to me. So I kept my phone next to me, and who kept texting and calling, texting and calling. And God, I love him, but I've decided that I can't go back to him. Um, Toxic is toxic. And there comes a time when you have to make the best decision for yourself that you can, you know. Anyways, I wanted to come home early. I came home around 9, washed my face, got into my pajamas, made the brief video, and here I am. I'm not going to allow going back to court situation. I'm not going to allow the corruption to ruin my faith. I'm still going to keep praying, and I'm still going to keep hoping and taking the legal steps that I have to, filing legal paperwork. It's really, really, really difficult on my own, but I'm doing it. And this is what it is right now. So I'm keeping my faith. Keep yours, and it'll keep you. Thanks. Bye.